Welcome guys to grade 8 and 9 equations, systems of equations. Today we're going to look at simultaneous linear equations. So as you can see on the board, we have got two equations. These equations are called linear equations. Take note. We have got the first equation here and the second equation. So we're going to find the value of x and y. So how do you find the values of x and y? Well, we have got two methods here. We have got the elimination method and the substitution method. Okay, so for us to be able to find the values of x and y, we actually have to either subtract these two equations or add these two particular equations. Now, depending on which variable you want to find first. For example, if you want to find, let's say we go by elimination method. So by elimination method, we're going to have these two equations rewritten here. So we're going to have x minus 2y equals to 4. In the second one, x minus 4y equals to 6. It's very simple. So the way to eliminate means to get rid of something. So in this case, if we want to find the values of x first, the value of x, this simply means that we need to eliminate the y variables. The same is true if we want to find the value of y. It's important to eliminate the x variables. That's how it goes. Now remember, the two equations can either subtract or add. Okay, so we need to find the value of x and y one at a time. If you're finding the value of x, this simply means that the variables of y will cancel out, or you get 0 or subtract. If you want to find the values of y, this simply means that the x variables will subtract. That's how it goes. Okay, so in this case, let's check it out. So I've got this particular equation. So in this case, you see, if you want to find the value of y, we need to subtract the x variables. So we're going to say this is minus here. X minus x is 0. Take note. This x corresponds to this x, and this negative 2y corresponds to minus 4y. And of course, the equal sign will have just one equal sign. And the answers, the 4 and the 6, correspond to each other. So in this case, we can start using this particular operation minus. Why did we get minus? We got minus because we know since we want to find the value of y, the x variables will give us 0. So for the x variables to be eliminated, we use the minus operation. Very important. We see that this x is positive and this x is positive. So which operation such that if you put here the x variables will be eliminated? It is the minus operation. That's why we're bringing the minus operation here. Very important. Okay, so let's use this particular minus operation. We'll be matching like this: x minus x, negative 2y minus 4y, the equal sign just 1, then the 4 minus 6 here. So x minus x is 0, we don't indicate 0. Then we move further, minus 2y minus 4y, we're going to have minus 2y minus 4y. Okay, take note, this will give us 4 minus 6, so this will be 4 minus 6 here. Simplify here, negative 2y minus is plus 4y. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Minus 2y plus 4y, here we're going to have positive 2y. And this gives us negative 2. Now here we want to find the value of y. But we see here that this particular y, it has got a coefficient greater than the positive 1, and that is positive 2. So then how do we get rid of this coefficient 2? we can use what we call the multiplicative inverse of 2. The multiplicative inverse of positive 2 we know is positive 1 over 2. So positive 1 over 2 has to be multiplied on both sides of this particular equation. So I'm going to multiply 1 over 2 both sides of this particular equation. Remember, whatever you do on one side, the same must be done on the other side. So if you multiply 1 over 2 times 2, you get positive 1. Positive 1 times y, you get positive y here. You go further, negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Everything divided by 2. Then y will be equal to 2 into negative 2. It goes negative 1 times. Therefore, the value of y is negative 2. Now it's time to find the value of x. Now that we know the value of y, how do we get the value of x? You go back to the original equation. These are the two equations here. So for you to find the other value, of x, the other variable, here you can pick one of these two equations, either the first one or the second one. It's up to you. So for example, I'll go for the first one. So you pick the first one, that is x minus 2y. This will give us 4. Now remember, we already know what the value of y is. It's negative 1. So you rewrite in this particular equation and substitute where there is y, you put the value of y, which is minus 1. So then if you do so, you're going to have x minus 2, you open the bracket, the y here is minus 1, you close, this gives us 4. Then here simplify, we're going to have x minus 2 minus 1 is plus 2, and this will give us 4. Here you can use the additive inverse. The additive inverse of positive 2 is negative 2, and that negative 2 has to be added on both sides of the equation so that we remain with x variable this side here. So just going to have x plus 2. The additive inverse of positive 2 is negative 2. Remember, this has to be added on both sides of the equation. And you're going to have, this is 4 here, we add the minus 2 here, okay, here we are actually adding the additive inverse, which is minus 2. Then you simplify further, we're going to have x plus 2 plus minus is minus 2. This will give us 4 plus minus is minus 2. We simplify further, x plus 2 minus 2 is 0. So you say x equals to 4 minus 2 is positive 2. Therefore, the value of x is 2. And that's how you go about this particular method. It's quite interesting. Now take note. Here we chose to start with the y, the variable, the value of y. We resolved to start by first finding the value of y. But what if you want to start with the x variable? How can you answer this same particular question? How? Please watch me in my next session of this particular same question. See you there.